a liqueur made from cactus, a whiskey faux pas, and getting tricked into Malort face. This week, it's all about liqueurs and whiskeys.
Traveling the world to bring you delicious dishes, tasty beverages, and interesting experiences. This is the Destination Eat Drink Podcast on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network.
I'm Brent Peterson. Welcome to Destination Eat Drink, the travel podcast for foodies. Destination Eat Drink is for foodies who like to travel and travelers who love to eat. And this week, we're getting our drink on with whiskeys and liqueurs from Ireland and Chicago and Malta and Estonia. But first, take a moment, rate and review the podcast. It really helps the show, and all you got to do is get on your podcast app and give up those 5 stars. Happy New Year! And happy 2026. I thought in this episode I'd raise a glass and toast the new year with some whiskey and liqueurs. There's a whiskey discovery in Ireland, a bitter drink in Chicago, a cotton candy sweet liqueur from the Mediterranean, and drinks to warm up in the Baltics. And I'm thirsty, so let's drink.
Destination Eat Drink.
Rick Kemper is an award-winning author, podcaster, and publisher. He and I were in Galway, Ireland, talking about discovering a new favorite whiskey. The other thing that we did was we had some whiskey.
Yes.
And I'll just say up front, I'm not a big whiskey drinker. As far as drinking whiskey straight, I'll occasionally have whiskey in a cocktail or like with Coca-Cola or something like that. But in general, I don't sit there and sip whiskey. We did in this case, and I was kind of blown away with how good and how smooth the whiskey was.
So I am a whiskey drinker.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Jameson's whiskey is famous even in America. And I drink Jameson's. That's my whiskey of choice.
Oh, okay.
But we had one that was even better. What was it called again?
Slane.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was the smoothest whiskey I've ever had in my life.
It was so good. And we're actually, we're recording this in your Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
And we sent your wife, Bridget, and my girlfriend, Karen, we sent them out.
Yes.
Because for them to stay quiet for 30 minutes is just not even a possibility. But they're going down to the place where we tasted that, and Karen's going to pick up some Slane for us to put in our bags and take home with us. I mean, it was
3 ounces or less.
Yeah, 3 ounces or less. So she's getting a little,
the little mini bottles.
We'll be doling it out in a little eyedropper.
Hey, it's worth it.
But this whiskey, it was so good. And then our tour guide, what she did was she had us have a sip of the whiskey, and then she added a little bit of water to it. And you're like, okay, it's not going to taste it's just going to taste watered down. But it didn't. It really changed the flavor profile of the whiskey itself.
It did. And I like to drink my whiskey on the rocks, which is considered gauche by some people. But it's that water flavor. It just it softens it up just a touch. And for me, that's the way to do it. I like it cold, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's an American thing, I think.
Yeah, probably. Because I think the Irish, and I think they said this when we were in Scotland as well, that, Americans don't put it on ice. You should have it at room temperature so that you can get the whole flavor profile.
Yes. And when I was in Kong, I had some whiskey there, too. And I ordered it on the rocks, and then the woman, bartender, said to me, we don't do that here. I said, I don't care. Just give it to me on the
rocks. You're never going to see me again.
Right, exactly.
The mocking.
Let's just go with it, okay?
You're only going to be able to mock me briefly here.
Right.
One other place, this was one of the first places we went to when we first got here, and this is the other side of that coin. This is right in the center of the crazy tourist section of Galway, and that's Sunny Malloy's. And I think that's pretty much known as a tourist bar. Now, when I say tourist bar, I'm not using it as a pejorative. I'm not,
right.
It's a fun place to go. It's a
we're
good place.
Tourists.
Yeah, we're tourists.
Yeah.
You should,
there's nothing wrong with going to a tourist attraction or going to a tourist place, but you should know you're going to go in there. It's not going to be filled with locals, probably.
Right.
But I got to say, their whiskey selection was pretty incredible.
Yeah, that was amazing. I when we got in there, I wanted to just stay there because I saw they had 3 or 4 shelves worth of different whiskeys
behind locked cabinets.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. And there was a menu, and one of them is $1,000 a glass.
Yeah. $1,000 for one shot. They go down the list. It starts at, I don't know what it started at, €6 or something like that. And it progressively gets higher. And then at the very bottom, it's whatever this whiskey was, it's €1,020, I think was the price for one shot of whiskey.
Needless to say, we did not sample that one.
Did you want to try it?
I'd love to, but I'm not that crazy.
I don't know.
David Hammond is the co-author of the terrific book, Made in Chicago, Stories Behind 30 Great Hometown Bites. He tells me about Chicago's notorious liqueur, Malort. Dave, I wanted to ask you about Malort. And my question to you about Malort is pretty simple, and that's, how the heck is this thing still available for sale?
Because why? Yeah, right. Why? Well, good
first time I had Malort, I was like, someone give me some battery acid so I can wash this flavor out of my mouth.
Now, I will say the recipe for Malort has been tweaked slightly over the years. The recipe and the name Malort and all the labeling and so on was purchased by CH Distillery in Chicago. Tremaine Atkinson is the guy who owns that operation. And he's the one who told me they had to make some adjustments. And I honestly think those adjustments are for the better, if by better you mean a drink that's more palatable than it used to be. It's a sort of bitter, kind of like Campari or Fernet Branc, kind of I wouldn't say it's as complex or as herbaceous as either of those, but it's a Chicago thing, and that finally is why it's beloved. The fact that it doesn't taste very good, or doesn't appeal to a lot of people, let's say, doesn't seem to matter much, and that in fact becomes kind of one of the endearing aspects of this spirit. People seem to like it because it's kind of people make a lot of fun of Malort. They did a crowdsourced effort to generate some taglines for Malort, and fans of Malort came up with taglines like Malort, when you want to unfriend someone in person. My favorite one is Malort, tonight's the night you fight your dad. There's this association of Malort with something that will is not so good tasting and might even drive you to do things you might not otherwise do. In fact, that's why absinthe, which contains wormwood, and Malort does as well. It's an herb. In fact, Malort means wormwood in Swedish. That wormwood was in absinthe, and absinthe got this notorious reputation for having driven this guy in France mad, and he went on a murder spree, and absinthe got blamed for it. So it was banned for decade after decade. Just recently, people realized that those folktales about absinthe and wormwood weren't actually accurate. Now, Malort, the whole time, has used wormwood in there because I think because it got some kind of medical dispensation or something like that. But it's been around since the mid-30s, early 30s, and Chicagoans love it. And if you come to Chicago, an outsider, come to visit Chicago as a tourist, and someone offers to buy you a shot of Malort, what you can expect to have happen is that Chicagoan who offered you a drink is going to get you a shot of Malort. You will take a sip, and then you're going to make a face of disgust and dismay and surprise. Your picture will be taken and then posted on Instagram, #MalortFace. Because that's what happens when people try Malort for the first time.
Malort, for a night of bad decisions.
That's
going to be my slogan. Simon Bajada is the author of the book Malta, Mediterranean Recipes from the Islands. He tells me about a unique liqueur made from local prickly pears. I did want to talk about this liqueur in Malta because I have not seen this anywhere else called Bajra, I think is how you pronounce it, but it's made from distilled prickly pears. And, when we lived in Austin, Texas, I used to be a gelato maker, and a friend of mine would go out and forage prickly pears, and she would make this prickly pear juice, and she would sell it to me, and I would make a sorbet out of it that was delicious.
Wow.
I loved the taste of that prickly pear. It's very sweet. I compared it to like cotton candy.
Definitely. Yeah, that's the flavor I find in it. It's hard to put a finger on, but it's somewhere around there. Yeah. It's almost like an artificial candy flavor.
It does.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I never considered, distilling it and making a liqueur out of it. Talk about the liqueur in Malta from prickly pears.
Well, yeah, there's one company. I think that's a generic name, the Bajra, for the company. But, I think other brands are allowed to use it. But, yeah, I mean, you walk through the duty-free shop in the Valletta airport, and that's all you're seeing. It's probably one of the most bought take-home products they sell. But, I think these cactuses were introduced to Malta, likely from Mexico, and they're used around by the farmers for windbreaks or to divide property and things like that. And they, there's an excess of them in autumn at the end of summer, the fruit. And so they made a liqueur from it. In the book, I give a recipe where you make a sugar syrup, and in the meantime, you have this just a clear vodka or something that you flavor with the fruit. And then you mix the two together and you have the liqueur. And I'm not sure if the commercial product is made in the same way or if it's distilled, but my feeling is it's flavored. It's a flavored beer
interesting.
alcohol.
So more like a limoncello, where you take the simple syrup, you add the liqueur and the macerated lemon peel in, rather than a distilled spirit like a brandy or a gin or something like that. Fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anastasia from Discover Estonia is a foodie tour guide from Tallinn. She talks about the signature drink of Estonia and its unusual origin. I was reading up about Estonia. I came upon this rum-based liqueur called Vana Tallinn.
That's right.
You talked about German influences. My understanding is that Vana Tallinn comes from the Soviet times. What can you tell me about this liqueur? What does it taste like? And, why is it interesting to try when we go to Tallinn?
Well, it's both the recipe, it does come from Soviet times, from 1960s. That's right. But at the same time, a lot of people, they call Vana Tallinn Estonian Jägermeister.
Okay.
Also, that's not entirely correct, because Jägermeister is herbal recipe, and Vana Tallinn you're absolutely right, it has a base of the Jamaican rum, but it has a lot of spices also there. Yeah, so the thing is that in Soviet era, all Soviet republics, they were supposed to have their own signature drink. And we didn't have one, so we received an order from Moscow, create your signature drink. And it was all quite quick, and so the team of people, basically they were nearly locked in laboratory and working on that recipe, and they came up with the interesting concept. So they wanted to create something fairly exotic, to spice up local boring life, because we have a bit of the gloomy climate, and so on. But by the way, some tourists, unfortunately, they complain to me that Estonian people, they're a bit not so friendly and they don't smile that easily. So that's because of the climate, because of our history, perhaps. But anyway, that team of the specialists, they came up with a recipe, and they took the exotic ingredients from many places in the world. They put them together into that kind of drink. And it became very popular. By the way, as far as I know, in 2010 or 2011, Vana Tallinn won a special prize in San Francisco, United States. in one of the festivals. Yeah, so some American tourists, they told me that you can actually buy it in the United States nowadays.
Oh, wow.
That's the most famous internationally, like the most famous Estonian drink internationally. Yeah.
It's so, I don't know, strange, unusual that this drink has its roots in being commanded by the Soviets to invent your own specialty drink, Estonia, because, you think of when someone has like a specialty drink or a specialty dish that it kind of emerges organically, from the local, whatever the produce is or the, what's grown in the area. And you guys are just sitting there going, well, we got to come up with something. So here's what we did. And now it's this popular thing. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's like basically Soviet way of doing things. Yeah, that's right. But we ended up with this wonderful drink, so that's okay.
It all turned out good. A couple other drinks I want to talk about are called Kanukuk.
Kanukuk, yeah.
What is this?
That's another very interesting concept. In fact, the drinks which you are mentioning now, they represent like the whole layer in our history. Kanukuk is the drink which comes from 1920s, like end of 1920s. It's that time when we finally got independence for the first time in centuries. And then the society realized that we don't have like a nice, like a posh drink for ladies. And the concept, Kanukuk means the rooster on the stump. That's the translation from Estonian, like a cocktail, basically, the cocktail of red Estonian berries. And there are a lot of different types of berries. They're all red color. And also like a couple of spices. So the drink is a little bit spicy. And basically, initially that was invented as drink for ladies. Yeah, for like a nice occasion, for like when the middle class started to emerge in our society. Yeah, so that was kind of like the drink for special occasions for the middle class people. We still drink Kanukuk, and you can have it in a lot of different cocktails. If you go like around the bars in the old town, then you can have Kanukuk in cocktails quite often.
And what about the other one? And I don't know how to pronounce this. Kiiu Torn, Torn.
Kiiu Torn, yeah.
Kiiu Torn.
One good thing about Estonian language is that it's very easy to read. You just read it like it's written. So, Kiiu is the name of the place, which is about 50 kilometers away from Tallinn. And Torn means tower. Kiiu Torn is actually the smallest castle in Europe, which looks like one tower, in fact. Yeah. It's also like a very nice tourist destination, like in province. Yeah. And in that place in Kiiu, when Soviet Union collapsed, yeah, they had a very wealthy collective farm there, like which was doing really well in Soviet times. But then people were looking for some project where to invest money, and then they had the technologist lady who lived in that area, and she came up with also very interesting recipe. This is an egg liqueur, but the recipe doesn't have any chemical additives, nothing chemical added to that, no colorants, no emulgators, no stuff like that. It's entirely natural, and it's also like, what you call it? It's not that liquid, but it's like a mousse, basically, yeah? It's quite thick liqueur.
Okay.
Creamy, like a thick cream, and it's all natural. And it's also very tasty, yeah? When people try, when we do the liqueur sessions, we have 5 different types of local liqueurs, and Kiiu Torn is being picked up as number 1 quite often, yeah.
So people really like it.
Yeah. And in Estonia, we drink it as, for instance, like we can add it with coffee, we can have it on its own. It be drunk room temperature with ice. Some people call it Estonian Baileys also.
I would love it with some coffee, I think. I love a little shot of liqueur in my coffee every once in a while, especially when I'm on vacation. So I think I'd like that in Estonia.
You would really enjoy your time in Estonia because we drink coffee with vanillin. It's very common here. Even a few drops of vanillin makes it like really nice and full of aroma. And also it helps you to go through tough winters sometimes,
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Anastasia from Discover Estonia. You can book a tour in Tallinn at discover-estonia.com. And Simon's book, Malta, Mediterranean Recipes from the Islands, is available wherever books are sold. You can also find out more about his work at simonbajada.com. Bajada is spelled Bajada. Made in Chicago, stories behind 30 great hometown bites. David's book he co-authored with Monica Eng is available at University of Illinois Press or wherever books are sold. And Rick Kempfer's podcasts, Minutia Men Celebrity Interview, and Free Kicks are all available on your podcast app. His publishing company with his business partner Dave Stern is Eckhartz Press. Go to eckhartzpress.com, and Eckhartz is spelled Eckhartz. And I'll have Rick here next week to talk about vacation mishaps, from breaking his arm in Switzerland to breaking his foot in Montana to getting kicked out of a hotel in Croatia. Don't miss that episode. Well, that's it for this week, but there's lots more foodie travel at destinationeatdrink.com. I just posted a brand new video. It's a Happy New Year video from Lisbon, Portugal. You can see that by clicking on the video tab at destinationeatdrink.com or by going to my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/@destinationeatdrink946. And I just posted a story. This one is for New Year's. It's about why Italians wear red underwear on New Year's Eve. You can read that at destinationeatdrink.com/blog. And you can support Destination Eat Drink at buymeacoffee.com. Download one of my foodie travel guides to Portugal, Spain, Italy, and more at buymeacoffee.com/destinationeatdrink. And thank you very much. Destination Eat Drink is distributed by the Radio Misfits Podcast Network and Ed Silla. Thanks, Ed. I'm Brent Peterson, and I'll see you down the road.
Join us next week for another culinary adventure on Destination Eat Drink, a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network.